My wife said she came out, and left me for another woman. But the truth was far worse. Hello everyone. I never imagined I'd be writing something like this, but here I am. My name is Ricardo, I'm 35 years old, and this is the story of how my life completely fell apart and how I slowly began putting it back together. For years, I truly believed I had everything a man could want. I was married, had 2 children, and lived what most people would call a stable, happy life. I was a husband, a father, and someone who took pride in providing emotional and financial stability for his family. My wife and I had been together for 17 years. She was loving, hardworking, and an incredible mother to our 2 kids, who are now 15 and 13. From the outside, our family looked perfect. Friends admired our relationship. Relatives used us as an example of what a marriage should be. And honestly, I believed it too. But a few months ago, things began to change. At first, the signs were small. Almost invisible. She started guarding her phone more closely. Suddenly, it always had a password. She would step into another room to take calls. She began coming home late from work with explanations that didn't quite add up. I noticed everything. But I said nothing. I told myself I was overthinking. That maybe she was stressed. Maybe she was dealing with something personal. I didn't want to accuse her without proof. I didn't want to start unnecessary fights and damage our family. I chose silence. And that was my first mistake. Then one day, she didn't come home. She left for work like any other morning. Kissed the kids goodbye. Told me she'd be back later. But night came and she never returned. At first, I wasn't panicking. She sometimes went out with coworkers or friends. But hours passed. Then the entire night. Then a full day. No messages. No calls. That's when fear took over. I called her phone again and again. Straight to voicemail. I was already considering calling the police when she finally answered. Her voice was cold. Distant. Almost emotionless. She told me she was leaving me. She said she had finally accepted who she truly was. That she had always felt trapped in a life that wasn't meant for her. That she had met a woman who made her feel alive for the first time in years. I couldn't speak. She asked me to respect her decision. She begged me not to tell anyone. She said she wasn't ready to come out publicly yet and needed time to process everything. I asked to see her in person. To talk face to face. I refused to believe that 17 years could end like this, over a phone call. She said no. She told me she had taken 3 months off work to adjust to her new life and needed space. Desperate for answers, I asked her for proof. I needed to know this was real. I needed to see it with my own eyes. Hours passed before she responded. Then she sent a photo. It was her, smiling next to another woman. My chest tightened. My hands went numb. I hung up the phone without saying a word. A few minutes later, she called back, crying. She said she still loved me. That she would always care for our family. She begged me not to file for divorce yet. The days that followed were the darkest of my life. I cried constantly. I barely slept. I replayed every moment of our marriage, searching for signs I might have missed. How could everything collapse so suddenly? Eventually, I knew I had to tell our children. It was one of the hardest conversations I've ever had. They were devastated. Confused. Angry. But over time, something unexpected happened. The pain brought us closer. We started spending more time together. Talking. Laughing. Supporting each other. We became a team in a way we never had before. One night, while trying to distract ourselves, my youngest downloaded a photo filter app. We were joking around, putting silly filters on our faces: animals, clowns, rock stars. Then he selected a gender swap filter. When the filter appeared on my face, my heart stopped. The face on the screen looked exactly like the woman in the photo my wife had sent me. Identical. My hands began to shake. I felt sick. That's when everything clicked. She wasn't with a woman. She had used a filter. I explained my suspicion to my kids, and together we realized the truth might be far worse than we imagined. I hired a private investigator. A few days later, the confirmation arrived. My wife was living with a male coworker. They were staying in an apartment he had helped her buy. The entire coming out story was a lie carefully constructed to hide an affair and avoid judgment. I confronted her in front of her family and friends. I showed the photos, the messages, the evidence. There was no way out. I filed for divorce immediately. She was furious. She knew the lie had destroyed her reputation and her future. She lost everything. The apartment was sold. She and her lover were forced to move far away. As for me, I'm still healing. But I learned something powerful. No matter how painful the truth is, it will always be better than living inside a lie. Let me know what you think in the comments, and if you enjoyed the story, don't forget to like and subscribe.